What do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
She's terrible. If she comes into office, it will be done.
Because when we win, there will be a civil war. I'm all for immigration. I'll trade every Republican voter for all the immigrants in. I'll trade them right now.
So I think she'll be able to make the country a lot safer and keep down the immigration and all of that good stuff.
I'm afraid he's going to do something to where he's just going to become a dictator and stay in office. So.
I am here in Chicago. I am at the DNC, and today we're asking people here at the DNC what makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States. It is extremely interesting that now Kamala Harris is suddenly the best person to become president, as she was once the most unpopular vice president of all time. And there's been a lot of problems underneath the Biden and Harris administration, such as inflation, the border crisis, the cost of living has gone up, and crime rates across the nation have soared through the roof. And now off camera, it appears I was in a restricted zone because I have now been kicked out of the DNC and I'm standing outside of the walls. But I want to let you guys know, if this video gets 10,000 likes, I will be doing a live stream here live tomorrow on Tuesday. If you're watching this video on Monday, I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow on Tuesday, live here at the DNC, doing essentially this same video, but live. And this video will include a sponsorship by Ground News. And now let's go on with the video, asking the Democrats here at the DNC, what makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States? And what do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
That she's not Trump, and that she's a woman. It's the time for the woman. So she's ready to be a leader.
And what do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
She's a prosecutor, and she knows how to prosecute the case against Donald Trump better than anybody.
And what cases against Donald Trump?
Basically everything he's ever done, from trying to steal the election, to assaulting women, to just being a crook.
And what do you think about Donald Trump's claims of him going after Kamala, saying, well, she really hasn't accomplished much, she didn't even pass her bar exam, and the border's been open since she's been president? What do you think about those claims from people from like Donald Trump?
I think they are nothing more than stormy winds, the big clouds, and the blazing flames of obfuscation.
If Kamala gets elected, what do you think we can see from her in her first year of office?
She's going to do a lot of listening, and she's going to do what the people want.
Okay, and what do the people want? What do you want?
I want freedom. I want an equal shot at the American dream. I want to control the border. I want a good economy.
What do you guys think about Kamala?
It'll be cool. She's terrible. If she comes into office, it will be done.
It'll be cool to see a female black, she's half black, not fully black, but it'll be cool to see a black president,
Western Indian.
female black president, but I'm definitely voting for Trump.
Let me tell you something. She tries to get the black vote. Because if you look at her past things, and maybe 10, 15 years ago, when she's in interviews, she identifies as West Indian.
She does.
The only way that she's identified as African American is right now. Right now. Because she wants the voters. But she doesn't give a fuck. Because where was she at in these past 4 years and she's vice president? What has she done for us?
She have not
Can
done
you
shit.
say one thing that
I didn't even know she was the vice president.
Can we say what she has done?
Let's go, Trump.
And I am going to stand on Trump, and I'm so sorry if that may ruffle people's feathers. But I have done my own research, and Trump has done a lot for us, more than what the media tries to portray. They're getting all our favorite rappers. They're having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and all of that to gain, because they think that that's going to make us vote for them. And that's not.
And that never got my vote.
And that will never get my vote. And I'm going to stand on that. Twerking
did
and
not get my vote.
Meg Thee Stallion. First off, the song that she was even saying is very ignorant. And let me just say one thing. Chicago's trying to clean up all the streets so they can have Kamala come into town. Like, we don't have a lot of killing out here. Like, all of these streets right now on Michigan Avenue are not safe. Let's talk about that. But you guys want to clean that up. You want to board buildings up. You want to board businesses up when Kamala comes into town to make it act like Chicago is safe, and it's not.
And do you think there's anything that makes Kamala qualified to become the next president?
I don't think anything, because things that made her qualified when she was a prosecutor that had evidence to get people off of death row, she didn't give a fuck about it.
And what would you say makes Kamala qualified to become president in this election?
Her whole career.
And what excites you most about her career and what she's done?
She has a lot of accomplishments in terms of her time as a prosecutor, in terms of her period as vice president and being there with the president for the decisions.
And do you think if Joe Biden was still running for president, do you think there would be this much excitement
No, there would not be this much excitement.
Do you think it was a coincidence that Joe Biden got sick and then Kamala Harris became the next president?
I mean, no.
Do you think that was planned?
No.
No.
Who thinks that?
I don't know. That's just what people are saying.
I mean, there was no plan to put her in this year if he wasn't going to run. That just all happened there's no question the debate was a big factor in it.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
Because people saw that he was having a difficult night. That's mild. But I don't believe it was planned, and I don't see how anybody could say it was planned.
And how will Vice President Harris solve the situation at the border if she's elected president?
Well, this is my number one thing, okay? Anybody who is not a criminal who wants to come into this country should be vetted. You vet them, and then they get to come in. I'm all for immigration. I'll trade every Republican voter for all the immigrants in. I'll trade them right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of people would because they'd vote for Democrats, right?
No, because that's what they should do. We don't want the Republicans. Republicans are evil.
And don't forget about this guy because we'll be coming back to him in just a few moments as he has more outrageous things to say. And what makes you excited about having Kamala Harris as the potential next president of the United States?
I'm a woman.
Yeah.
That makes me very excited. Everything she stands for in terms of women's right to make a choice, absolutely critical to me.
And what fears you most about Donald Trump winning?
His incompetence, his vitriol, his inability to work within the democratic system. I just think he's a frightening human being. Yeah.
And what has he done that has proven that he's a frightening human being?
Just listen to what he says, how he says it, and all the vitriol that he's created.
And as you guys know, I have been all over the country asking people who they're going to be voting for and who they think the best candidate is. And I'm always fascinated by the extreme differences in the opinions of others. And I believe it has a lot to do with the algorithms and the news networks we watch and read and which facts are being given to you. And for that reason, I'm excited to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that helps you navigate the media in a way where you can see the news from all angles. They get together thousands of articles every day, and those articles are then grouped together to compare coverage in real time and uncover hidden biases. For instance, recently Kamala Harris shared her proposed economic plan, and with Ground News, I can instantly access more than 130 sources reporting on this and quickly see that over 60% of sources are coming from the center and left, with only 13% coming from the right, making this a possible blind spot for the right. And by comparing coverage, you can see that the left highlights their plans to decrease costs for housing and food, while the right calls their proposed policies completely idiotic. And I appreciate that they provide visual context to help me see how reliable the news sources are, and you can even see who owns them, and it helps you understand the information that other platforms either censor or remove altogether. Ground News is honestly pretty amazing, and I found Ground News to be the best way to navigate the media, especially in this election cycle, and I'm sure you guys will love them as well. You can check them out at groundnews.com/Nick and use my link to save 40% on the same Vantage plan I use for unlimited access to all their features. Check them out, groundnews.com/Nick. And now onward with the video. Obviously, now that Kamala Harris is running for president, some people have
Kamala, not Kamala, Kamala.
Kamala. Some people have questioned what makes Kamala qualified to become president, and what makes her qualified to become the next president.
Okay, number one is she's not Trump. Number two is that she's been voted in many different positions. She served as a attorney general. She served as a prosecutor. She served as vice president.
Do you think it was planned for Joe Biden to get sick and then get replaced with Kamala?
I think, no, I don't think. Kamala, not Kamala. I don't necessarily think that they planned it, but I think they realized that he's got to be the president in this. It's tough. It's tough. So when the Republicans try to steal the election, which they will, because guaranteed will win the popular vote by at least 30 million, they'll try to steal it with the Electoral College. We have to have the presidential right to call executive order. We must retain the military, because when we win, there will be a civil war, and we need the military on our side, and then we will destroy the red state National Guards like Texas. I'd love to see the military go in there after we win, wipe out the Texas National Guard, and take Abbott and throw him in the Rio Grande and watch him drown in that chair of his. So.
And what would you say about the people that say the Democratic Party is for peace and you're calling for Greg Abbott to be thrown into a river?
Everybody's for peace, but Abbott is pardoning people who committed murder. So can't have it.
And what changes do you think we could expect to see with a presidency of Kamala Harris?
Kamala, more progress. Okay, I want to see increased taxes on the rich, 90% taxing so of a certain point for billionaires. Okay, and corporations, 90% tax.
90% tax on people like Elon Musk.
Yes, exactly.
And what would that solve?
I said that would look at all the money we'd have to spend on stuff.
And what would you say about the people that say billions of dollars are getting sent over to Israel and Ukraine?
Well, you have to do that. You have to support your allies. Republicans are good at dividing people, saying, oh, they're sending money here. No, we have the money. It's just it's by the corporations. Take the money from the corporations, 90%, okay? And then we got money for everything. I'm ready for the Civil War, okay? And like I said, we must have control of the military. We'll crush them, and we move this country forward.
What will Civil War look like?
It's going to be more like a guerrilla war, okay? So it's going to be tough.
Like
this is what I picture.
The Republicans probably have the majority of the guns here in America.
Okay, it doesn't matter. You can only shoot one gun. You don't need a gun. The military will win. Whichever side the military is on will win. Okay? So I've never even touched a gun, but I'll go out there and fight.
Do you think the military would back somebody who left Afghanistan and left billions of dollars of equipment?
Yes, I am. Basically, in my dream world, I'm a communist.
Communist?
Yes, but it won't work. It won't work. But in a world, to me,
some of
the
new proposals that Kamala is coming out with, some people are saying are very almost like communist, like price gouging, controlling the prices inside grocery stores. That's something that
that's the corporations doing that, but the government should step in. I'm for that. My name is Guy. I live in Brookfield, Illinois.
And this year, who will you be voting for?
Voting for Harris and Wells.
What makes you so excited about Harris and Walz's ticket?
Nothing makes me excited, but it's more the platform that they're on.
Okay, and you think there's more hope voting for the same people that are in office right now to fix the country?
What's there to fix? The economy's doing great. Stock market is up, so if you're a white male, like he said, you're doing pretty good. Your 401ks are doing pretty good. Inflation sucks, but the problem is that people think that inflation is due to administrations when it's not.
Sure. And what makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
Well, if you look at her path, she was, Attorney General, then she was a senator, vice president. Much more, I think, qualified than most people that are coming through the system.
Would you say she's more qualified than Trump to become president?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
And here at the DNC, they are bringing people in by the buses, dropping them off here for them to go inside the convention. What are you guys excited for this week?
See the next president of the United States nominated.
Do you think Kamala is qualified to become the next president?
I mean, we've just seen 4 years of her in office. So, no, I'd like to see 4 more years of Trump. Open borders, crime sky high, inflation, wars all over the world. It's like everything's burning, and I think it's to do with Kamala and Biden. I mean, we've got 4 years with Trump in office, 4 years since, and I mean, crime's up since he's out of office. Illegal crossings are up, inflation's up. Now, all that necessarily isn't the fault of the administration, but...
Now Kamala is running for president, obviously, and she's still vice president.
0 votes in the primary.
And how is
Crazy how that works.
How do you think that's possible that she suddenly just became the next best person to become president when she was the most unpopular vice president?
Well, because if they took it to an open convention, there's 0 chance she would have won. The only way to keep all the money they had raised this far was to install Kamala. So you saw it happen over a weekend. I mean, prior, MSNBC, CNBC, CNN are all talking about how Kamala has got the worst approval ratings of any VP in history. They're talking about how Biden can get her off the ticket. And then all of a sudden, she's the savior of the country. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. She's been the nominee for 28 days, hasn't done a single press conference, hasn't talked about policy. The 2 things that she's announced is no tax on tips, which Trump already said, and then J.D. Vance talked about a $5,000 child credit. Now Kamala's proposing a $6,000 one. Crazy.
Do you think she'll take control of the border finally once she becomes president, or do you think it's just going to get worse?
No, it's only going to get worse. It's just lip service. She's been the border czar. She didn't do shit for it. She wants to let as many illegals in to give them pathway to citizenship so they can vote. They're all going to vote Democrat. They're giving them free phones, free health care, free education, free money. Why would they not vote for Democrats?
What do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
She's not. She didn't go through the voting process. They scared of the system, but I was all by design.
So how do you think it's even possible that she is now running for president when she wasn't even voted in to be the electoral?
Good question. Because
to be the person.
Because it's part of prophecy. If you look at like Egyptian, Kamala means lotus flower. Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. So what she's going to bring what he wanted. Back in the day, the sun god, along with Akhenaten, they were the rulers of the dynasty back in the day. They're going to bring economic doom. Because what you have to do, you have to destroy it before you rebuild it. They're gradually doing it now. That's why they got to have these conventions, because they need you to make a covenant with them and be in agreement with them to move forward. That's all this is. It's an exercise to participate in your own doom.
Okay.
This whole system was not built for American citizens. It was built for secret groups to run it. And they're running it. And allegedly Kamala and all them, they're part of it.
When it comes down to it, what do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president?
Well, she's been a lawyer, okay, so she's no dummy, okay? And then she's been vice president. And it's very hard to top the education that you get as vice president to be president.
So what do you think Kamala will do as president to stop inflation?
She said she would look into the price gouging.
And do you think price gouging is right?
We all know it's going on.
Do you think it was right of the Democrats to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris for the ticket of who could be the next president?
It's a matter of the vote. I mean, what do you mean?
She didn't receive any vote.
We replace our politicians all the time, and that's within their laws. Is for all their delegates to just say, well, screw whatever people did in the primary, and let's give all our votes for somebody else. They're perfectly not only capable, but it's perfectly all right for them to do that, because that's the party's rules. Is it unfair to some people? Yeah, dude. Is it unfair to animals that they don't get to vote? Yes, it is unfair to animals they don't get a vote. It's unfair to plants. They don't get a vote either, okay? And you could look at it this way, and it's actually true. They don't get a vote, okay?
Yeah, because they're not a human.
They're not a human. They're not 18 years old, okay?
How would a plant vote if it wanted to vote? Like, it's literally impossible.
Well, given enough technology, when we can finally talk to plants, and they live longer than us, so they get to be 18 years old, and they get to vote for a long time, well, okay.
You believe that plants should have the right to vote?
I believe that they think that they should have the right to vote. I believe that your dogs and cats, if you were able to talk to them, they would say, yes, we have the right to vote.
In your opinion, what makes the Democrats so excited to suddenly be voting for Kamala now, since Joe Biden has dropped out?
Well, that's an obvious question. There's a little bit of excitement because Joe Biden is kind of losing it,
What do you think makes Kamala qualified to become the next president?
I mean, she has so much great experience. I mean, you can't, being a vice president, she is one person away from being a president. So, I mean, that qualifies her great experience, attorney general, being for the people, listening for the people. So, she checks every box for me.
And what do you think Kamala could do to separate herself from Donald Trump?
I really like her message of, I'm this, he's that, I'm this. I know his type.
What are some of the accomplishments that Kamala and Joe have done since they have been in the office?
Well, definitely, we bounced back from COVID. I think they really got us on the right track. The economy's booming. Unemployment is low. So I think they've done a lot of great things. Yeah.
And is there anything Donald Trump could do in these upcoming months to potentially sway you to vote for Donald Trump?
No. I would never vote for Donald Trump, no.
What would be the fear of Donald Trump winning?
Number one is what he's done to the Supreme Court. I have a daughter, and I am, in fear of her rights that have already been taken away. She doesn't have the same rights that I do. I'm afraid he's going to do something to where he's just going to become a dictator and stay in office. So.
What makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
I think because she has some actual clear policies. I think she's a good communicator. I think it would be exciting to have a woman as a president.
Do you think a lot of people here are in support of Kamala? One, because she's a woman. Two, because she's a black woman, and it might diversify the White House a little bit?
I think so, yeah. I think that people want to see a woman in the office, hopefully.
Okay, and what difference would it make between a woman and a man in office?
God, that's a deep question. I don't know, just a different perspective, I guess.
What do you think we can expect from Kamala Harris if she's elected as president?
I think that she'll be great. She'll give the people what they need, make the country a lot better. We'll get a lot of benefits out of it.
What kind of benefits are you excited for?
Lower health care, higher wages, better benefits for the people.
Do you think Kamala is somebody that we can trust with the open borders and with inflation going up? Do you think she's somebody we can trust to maybe close down the border a little bit, make things a little bit safer here in the United States?
I agree, yeah. I think she'll be great at that.
Okay, well, she's in charge of the borders right now.
Yeah. So I think she'll be able to make the country a lot safer and pretty much keep down the immigration and all of that good stuff and try to make the country a safer place to be, you know.
And here also in Chicago, because of the DNC coming, they have boarded up all of the buildings here on Michigan Avenue because right here are all the protests. I'll be making a whole separate video on the protests here. And remember, get this video 10,000 likes. I'll be doing a live stream on Tuesday, and we'll be doing a whole separate YouTube video on the protests here at the DNC. This is Nick, and I'll see you guys next video.